Shut up and sit down.
Good morning on a cloudy Houston day. Finally, after like a year and a half, I am going to get my women's wellness check at the VA hospital. So I was in the Army about 16 years ago. I got injured, broke my pelvis, busted my lower back, busted my neck, broke my kneecaps. It was pretty bad. So I have had to wait, obviously through COVID, for just your normal checkups. And so apparently, according to the news and the interwebs, a lot of people's things like cancer and like pre-existing conditions were getting worse during COVID because we were supposed to stay home, obviously, during COVID. And because of that, people couldn't get other stuff checked. So when they got sick with COVID, it was worse because, you know, they weren't able to get treatment for things that they were getting treatment for previously. I really don't have anything like that. I have structural issues. So I have a busted shoulder, I've got busted spine, I've got rotational issues, I have a degenerative neck. So I've got mostly just like physical issues. And I, mostly try to overcome them by just being super active and that kind of thing. And I'm very inspired by people that are able to, run marathons when they have what society would consider a debilitating disability. So I mountain bike, rollerblade, ice skate. I do rock climbing if I can, ride horses, hiking. So really just try to stay active. It's great that I haven't actually, had any issues during COVID. I've never had COVID, and I have been vaccinated, and that second vaccine shot really hit me pretty hard for like about 18 hours, and then I was fine. So I think because it's cloudy today, I think I'm going to go check out the museums in Houston. I love being a tourist in my own town, and I think people need to try to do that more. Even if you live in the smallest town ever, you may have some like bizarre history or some like weird freaky neighbor that's got some Santa doll collection or something. There's always something to see wherever you live. So of course, I grew up in places like London where I was raised, and I lived in Japan, and I lived in New York, and I went to high school in Los Angeles area. So I kind of have grown up in tourist places. So I always say that I was born where you vacation. Actually where you used to vacation. So today I think I'm going to go to the, there's a Holocaust Museum, which is also a great way to kind of put your life in perspective. When you think you have problems, you don't have problems. So, checking out that. I've been to the one in Los Angeles, I've been to the one in Berlin, and I've been to, a variety of other human rights museums around the world. I've been to Hiroshima, so it's a really, I think everyone kind of needs an attitude check pretty much every day. So I'm going to do that. The Menil collection, which is really interesting, is closed on Tuesday. The Museum of Fine Arts is also closed, so I can go to those another day. The Natural History Museum is always a good one to go to. They've always got some interesting exhibits. They have a health museum. Of course, they've got NASA, which is like, on the other side of town. It's funny. It's like the movie The Martian is set in Houston. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't see Houston from NASA. Like, you can't see downtown Houston if you're in NASA. It's like freaking 100 miles away. So anyway, so I'm going to go do that. Sorry, my thing's bouncing around because I've got my little holder thing. Anyway, so I will go to, I think, the Holocaust Museum, and I think I'll go to the Natural History Museum. And then they have a Museum of Funeral Science, which is super interesting. So if I have time, since it's only like 7 o'clock in the morning, after my appointment, I think I will go check out those 3 museums, and I will show you what they are. Actually, I probably won't do the Natural History Museum because, that's one I can just do anytime. But I am super interested in going to this Museum of Funeral History. So we got a couple bizarre things here in Houston. It's a very quirky place. great food from every country, and just a really like weird kind of insular type of world we live in down here in the Third Coast. So we're trying to be a big city, but we're really like a small town. So okay, I'm at the VA hospital now. I'm gonna get my lady bits checked, which you should always do. And since I'm 42 years old, so I need to obviously have all the like adult stuff, like the mammograms and all of that. So being middle-aged, am I middle-aged? I don't know, I'm 42, so I'll be 43 in November. So yeah, I'm getting up there. Starting to creak a little. So since I went to the VA this morning, I'm just going to go double check my health over here at the Health Museum and just make sure that the VA told me the right thing. So we'll see this. I've never been. I mean, the Children's Museum's right next door, and Harriette and I would always go to that. We never really make it over here because we're usually museumed out, pooped out by the end of the day. So this should be fun and interesting. Kind of gross maybe in some places. I don't know. I follow a pathologist on Instagram called Mrs. and Jennie, and I'm fascinated by like diseases and things, just the pathology of it, and so I took a lot of biology classes. The back entrance is closed, so let's go around to the front entrance, and there's the Health Museum. So I follow a pathologist on Instagram called Mrs. and Jennie, and she's super informative. It's kind of gross and disgusting, but it's just science, and I think, you know, science is amazing. And I took a lot of biology classes and human anatomy classes throughout school and college. Mostly, well, as a journalist, you know, we kind of had to take some of those things, but I just am fascinated by things like genetics and diseases and all that stuff. So you have to walk around the other side of the building over here to the Crawford Street entrance. So if you park at the Children's Museum, just know that you go walk around the other side. It is sticky and humid today. Houston, I am missing my Colorado no humidity. It's funny, they got all these skeletons around. It's like the Death Museum. No, it's a health museum, people. So this is the Health Museum, and it's so weird. They've got an actual life-size replica of my brain. Look at that. That is exactly how big it is. Fancy that. It's not squidgy though. I want to touch it like your brain. It's not. It's like made of plastic. This is the cell lab, so for $5 you can put on a lab coat and find the cure for COVID, and they have actual like scientists that will help you. This is the Museum of National Museum of Funeral History, and of course there's like 1,000 gardeners right out here digging graves. I don't know. I hope not. He's just cutting the grass. You know, I grew up watching Poltergeist, So who knows what's buried under these buildings. Anyway, so this is about I don't know, maybe 20 minutes outside of the loop. So if you look at a map of Houston, it looks like a giant spider web, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. And if you superimpose the map of Houston onto other cities, it will basically engulf every single city. So as I was saying, this is the National Museum of Funeral History. I've never been here before, so this will be interesting. And it's in an area called Greens Point, like I said, just outside of Houston. And yeah, we'll just go check it out, and then I think I'm done for the day with my museuming, if that's even a word. But yeah, so just, there's some really funny, quirky things that you can do when you just explore your town. This is the museum, and it looks like it's pretty interesting. When I was in Africa in 2019, I went to Ghana. And one of the traditions they have there is that they basically, you can get buried in anything that you want to get buried in. So they have this whole industry of creating caskets that look like other stuff. So you can get married, you can get buried, well, maybe married in a casket, if that's your thing. You can get buried in like a chicken or a chili pepper, or in my case, a Diet Coke can. And it's really kind of cool. And then you can actually buy those coffins or caskets from other countries, and they'll ship them to you. So there is just, some vehicles and things here. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of check it out, see what it's about. So these are all of the flyers, I guess, you get at the funerals. So they have Whitney Houston, they have John Denver, they have Farrah Fawcett, James Gandolfini, Kermit, Jim Henson. And this is kind of trippy. I'm really weird about that. In regards to funerals and stuff. I've only ever been to, I've been to no funerals in my life. I've never been to a funeral. And I've been to one wedding. And that was my sister's wedding. So, yeah, I don't know. I think because I've traveled so much, I have a very different idea than a lot of people of what happens when you die. But I don't know, it just kind of trips me out. I'm not good with cemeteries and things. There we go. I knew they would have them. So in Africa, in Ghana, this is what you can get buried in. You can get buried in the thing that killed you. So if you got killed by a giant crab, or this bizarre looking fish, or maybe this chicken, or this tiger, although there's a tiger loose in Houston right now, so, oh, that's a cheetah. Anyway, but yeah, this is what you could do. You could order this. They'll make them by hand. And I actually went to the little factory when I was in Africa where they made these, the original place. So super cool. I knew they would have them. You can get buried in the car that hit you, or the airplane you crashed in. I know it's kind of kind of morbid. Or if you want to be patriotic, you can get buried in a bald eagle, or just a fishing boat if you're just kind of like, you know, a hardworking person. Or I think that's actually more of a Olympic boat. I don't know. Oh, it's so funny. So funny. This is again why aliens don't land. They're like, what is happening on this planet? So this is definitely more my thing. I don't think I can handle burial. Of course I wouldn't know because I'll be dead, but this would be me. Just cremate me, decision one. So I think probably what I'll do is just be sprinkled, you know, over some far off land that I love, or maybe like have the ashes like sent up in a rocket ship, because I've got probably maybe 30, 40 more years. And by then they'll probably be able to send these up into space. Maybe just, you know, plant me as a tree. I don't know, this is kind of more my thing. So for future reference, I don't want to be buried. I just want to be sprinkled into the earth and grow and bloom and maybe be reincarnated. I do believe in that. I think you come back as something else. So I'll come back as like an earthworm. See, this is it. Okay, make me into a necklace or plant me as a tree, which some dog will probably pee on. Make me into a snow globe or essential oils or an ornament. Yeah, something like that. That's kind of what I would like. I would like to be a tree. 3 museums that I've never been to. Definitely check them out. You probably spend less than $25 total if you visit all 3. So very reasonable and very cheap. With military discount, you save about $1 or $1 or $2 at each place. And it was fun to just kind of do some cheesy science experiments. They didn't let me film during the experiments, obviously, because I was covered in, blood and guts. So, and then the funeral museum was actually really interesting as well. And I had never been to it. It's just a little bit off the 45 freeway, so not too far. And it was really kind of cool to see all of the different, I guess the hearses. I don't know why there's not more hearses in van life. Those things are massive, and you can fit an entire person laying down in it. So, how morbid. Actually, there was a guy in my my high school that drove a hearse, just like as a regular car, back in California. Anyway, so I'm done for the day. I'm heading home. It's about 3 o'clock. So I went to 3 museums in about 6 hours. So that was a pretty easy day. So if you have a day to just kind of kill, pun intended, just kidding. If you have a day to just chill out and hang out in Houston, and you're in your van and you don't really have anything else to do, definitely check out our museum scene. There are some package passes you can get for different zones. I'm not sure what they are because I usually have passes, annual passes for the ones in Houston. But just check it out online. I'll link it below. And this was fun. So yeah, so this is my end of my day today, and I will see you on the next episode, whatever that may be.